Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome
Hi.
all.
Hi, Irene. How are you? Good to hear you.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi. I can't hear anyone. I don't know why.
We can hear you.
Με ακούτε?
No, we can hear you, yes.
Ωραία. Τέλεια. Νομίζω συνδεθήκαμε πολύ καλά.
Can you hear me, Irene?
Yes, yes, yes. Now I can hear you perfectly well. Thank you,
Okay.
dear.
That's good.
Fine.
That's good.
So everyone, hello again, now that technical issues are resolved. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Mohan. Hi, Despina, Theodore. Hello, Mira.
Hello.
Marco Antonio. John Joseph Barcelo. Hello. We have the pleasure and honor to have among us executive members of Writers Capital International Foundation and editors from Writers Edition, complete magazine, and authors such as Elena and Pandelis. Kalispera.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Καλησπέρα.
Kalispera. Ακουγόμαστε υπέροχα νομίζω. And we also have Professor Anita as well with us. Yes? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. So good. Wonderful. Are we expecting someone else? Are we going to wait a little bit? Dr. Mohan?
I think I had invited quite a few people, but I don't know how many of them would join. So
the problem is sometimes the time zone and the difference there.
exactly.
For you, it is early in the morning?
Yes, it is about 10 o'clock in the morning here.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Marco Antonio? ¿Qué hora es acá?
Aquí es las 11
Las
de la
11.
mañana.
Okay, 11 o'clock
Y allá a las
there.
6 de la
For us in
Sí.
Greece, it is it's afternoon, late afternoon, 6 o'clock. And also for the rest, it's almost 8:30 evening. Okay, we have another poetess coming. This is Vula Memu. She's joining. Vula, μας ακούς? Καλώς ήρθες, Βούλα, μας ακούς μήπως?
Καλησπέρα.
Καλησπέρα, καλησπέρα. Hello, hello, dear Vula. How are you?
Hello. Hello.
Wonderful to have you here. So nice, so nice. Πολύ ωραία. Σε βλέπουμε κιόλας. We can see you now. Wonderful. So good.
Είναι λίγο δύσκολη η σύνδεση, αλλά okay.
Okay, we can hear you. Σ' ακούμε, ευτυχώς. Πάρα πολύ ωραία. Μια χαρά, όμορφα. Έχω στείλει το link για όσους θέλουν να το στείλουν στους φίλους τους. Είμαστε live στο YouTube. I have shared the link here in the chat so that you can share it with your friends. We are live on YouTube right now. So let me check something for a while. I'll be right back. All right. Do you think we should start? And whoever is coming could be joining at any time. I think we should proceed. Okay. So, Writers Capital International Foundation, in association with Writers International Edition Greece, is proudly presenting the second Meet the Author program. In this unique program, the public will have the golden opportunity to meet contemporary authors from across the world who will be featured in the World Wide Web and on various social media pages. It is a bliss for new aspiring authors and, of course, admirers of the letters to be able to enter their favorite authors' mindsets, grab a piece of their inspiration, and follow in their footsteps towards success as well. While the program helps us know more about the author and the techniques they resort to in writing, there will be ample opportunities for participants to ask questions that shed more light on the writer and their works. Meet the Author program will be proudly featured on the World Wide Web and on various social media pages too. One also important aspect is that authors who have not yet gained access to publishing houses, they now have the opportunity to find their way towards publishing their own books by means of our publishing house, namely Writers International Edition. Therefore, I would like to welcome you all in today's session of the Meet the Author program. In fact, a little before the launching of the new Panorama Literature Festival 2023, and convey to you the heartiest welcome and message of our honorable president and founder of Writers Capital Foundation, as well as chairman of Panorama Festivals, Mr. Preet Nambiar. He is, as you'll understand, very busy with the preparation of the upcoming Panorama Literature Festival. He wishes the authors across the world his very best and prompts them to keep the inspiration high. At this point, let us acquaint our viewers with Writers Capital Foundation. Despina Dalmaris, our editor in writersedition.com, the complete magazine, will say a few words on behalf of the foundation as an executive member of it too. Dear Despina, we're all ears.
Thank you, Irene, and hello to everyone. Just a few words about Writers Capital. Writers Capital is an international non-profit, non-political, and non-religious literacy organization for writers, artists, and others who are in the creative field across the world. The principal aim and objective of the foundation is to equip writers to take leadership in social change. Our vision is to help build up a world beyond borders where myriad lives coexist harmoniously, respecting perennial values applicable for the entire planet. Our mission is to gather creative minds to reach the grassroots, to educate and to inspire people for achieving the concept of one world and to protect the planet from challenge of time. Join us in this massive movement for social change. I think that is a very nice summary of what Writers Capital is all about.
Yes, and a very brief one. Thank you so much, dear Despina. And also, I would like to say hello to your husband, Mr. Theodore Dalmaris, who is also a member of the advisory board in Writers Capital Foundation. Thank you so much for being among us. Now,
Thank you.
the floor goes to Meera Vinit Kodakadat, who is an author and poet herself, also an author that publishes her books with Writers International Edition, our publications. We are ready to listen to the biography of the author featured today. So the dais to you, dear Meera, to introduce us to the life of the author. Meera, to you.
Namaste, everyone. A writer is one who travels ahead of time. Whatever he or she scribbles remains here till eternity. That's what makes a writer precious than anyone else in a society. When your heart pounds with emotions, your neurons play Scrabble, your eyes fantasize images, your lips form words, your whole being is raptured with symphony, melody, tears, and joy. Then you pick up your pen, scroll words on paper. Then you know a poem is born. This poem by Dr. Meenakshi Mohan is the very essence of the process of writing. The notion of what comes to heart being molded with your senses through words reflects an artistic touch to it. So today, I'm extremely proud and honored to speak about yet another artist, Dr. Meenakshi Mohan, who I think inspires a lot of young writers like me. Dr. Meenakshi Mohan is an educator, freelance writer, art critic, children's writer, painter, and poet. She has taught at university in Chicago, Boston, and more recently, Towson University in Maryland. Her specialty is early childhood leadership and advocacy. She has published widely in this area and presented numerous papers and workshops. Her academic writings and books include Motivational Learning and Art Integrated Curriculum, What is Education, Art, the Emergence of Literacy and Motivation. Her book reviews, art critics, interviews, and poems regularly appear in various journals and anthologies. Stanford University digitally houses her writings in its initiative of Life in Quarantine. She received several awards for her excellence in teaching from the universities she has taught. She has been listed twice in the Who is Who among American teachers. She authored several children's books and edited a few anthologies. Her most recent anthology, released in September 2022, is Tapestry of Women in Indian Mythology, published by Havakal Publishers, India. She recently had a solo exhibit of her paintings in Potomac, Maryland. Most of her paintings are in private collections. She is nominated for January 2021 as an Artist of the Month by DC South Asian Arts Council. It is a South Asian cultural ambassador for the DC metro area. She has been featured several times in the local journals in the Maryland area. She is a recipient of an award for her writings from the International Foundation of Writers Capital. She is on the editorial team for Inquiry in Education, a peer-reviewed journal published by National Louis University, Chicago, Illinois. As an editorial member, she reviews, edits, writes articles, and does academic book reviews and editorials. Some other forthcoming projects include children's storybook with integrated curriculum resources for educators and parents, a book of poems for children, a canvas of colors and words, a book of my paintings and poems, several articles, poetry, and paintings to be published in different anthologies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Mira. And now we will have the pleasure to welcome the honored author of today's session, Dr. Meenakshi Mohan, permanent lifetime member of Writers Capital Foundation too. We're so happy to have you among us.
Well, thank you so much, Irene, and thank you, Mira, for such an elaborate introduction of me. I'm really honored and, really feel very humble about it. And I also would like to thank Preet Nambiar, the president of the Writers Capital Foundation, for inviting me for this event. And of course, Irene, I'm really in awe with you with whatever you are doing in order to enhance literacy and motivate, literacy and art and all over the world and uniting us in one, So really a big, cheers to you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone else, for being here with me, Anita, and so many other people that I'm meeting today. All of you, most welcome, and thank you for being here. And
we could go to your work so that we get a little taste of your inspiration.
Okay,
and
great.
follow some new or aspiring authors could follow in your footsteps.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I will start with my children's book. I'm actually
wonderful.
Yeah, I actually am like Mira mentioned that my educational professionalism is in early childhood education. I'm very much a children's person, and I've been writing children's stories, and some of them have published in anthologies and journals and also in books. And I'm also working on several other books. The one book that I would like to share, and actually some of my stories are very much related to the real life experiences, like observing children and from my own experiences. This book is called The Gift. And it is about two sisters and their sibling rivalries. There is rivalry and jealousy and all that. But at the end of it, there's a lot of bonding. And actually, I should say that this story is actually based on my own story between me and my sister, who was about 1.5 years younger than me. There was a lot of jealousy, lot of like bargaining things, like, you take this and I take this. And I was the older one, so I used to end up taking most of the better stuff, and she would. So here is something just briefly I will share, since, so this is the story of the Goldilocks. This is the Goldilocks, and this is Judy, and this is Kitty. So the Goldilocks was like Judy's doll, but she was not allowed to be shared by Kitty. She could only watch it. But one day Kitty just had the, see here. These are the illustrations. This is the picture book. Okay. So one day Kitty, sort of took the doll and she was playing with it, and unfortunately she broke the doll. So this was like a big thing between them, a big fight and stuff like that. But towards the end of the day, they resolved the situation, and there was like a big bonding. And I won't tell you the end of the story because you need to read the story. Okay. And this
looks wonderful, if I may add. It's wonderful, really.
Thank you. And this is another story, The Rainbow in My Room. Children, I'm being an early childhood educator, I'm very much into Piaget and, his philosophy. Children at this age are in the sensory motor period, a lot of imagination and things, whatever is thing there, they think it's reality. And actually, this story is dedicated to my grandson when he was 4 years old. And we had I have a chandelier, and there was sunlight coming in and sort of flickering on the floor, and he thought it was a rainbow, and he was running around it trying to catch the rainbow. So this is the rainbow in my room, and how he resolves his problem. So basically, my children's stories are based on real life experiences, children's imagination, evoking their fantasy and all that, and how they do problem solving in their own way. So this is that one. And actually, Anita Nahal is here. And Anita Nahal and I both co-edited this book. This is about children's rhyme, children's nursery rhyme and stuff like that. The painting on this, the cover of this story is my painting. So, and here, I'll just share, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just share. Here. So this was like a painting. I did a painting of this one here, and that's my grandson again. And I just read a few lines. You walk with a sure stride, with a purpose in mind. A wide open sky welcomes you to stretch your wings and fly, explore, enjoy, and many miracles to find. The world greets you with an open canvas. Test, try, investigate, and paint with many colors. Beauty is on the whole, with its magic in the fold. Stretch many wonders. A few page awaits you. Fill it with many hues. Pen your ideas new for the world to follow. You are a shining star of tomorrow. So this is a lot of nursery rhymes and stuff like that. And Dr. Anita Nahal is here. Both of us co-edited this book. So this is about my children's book, And,
so beautiful and inspiring for little children. What is the age targeting?
Okay, so there are different ages for this one could be any ages, starting from like 2 to 7, 8-year-olds or something like that. This one, The Rainbow in My Room, is for very young children. They are in the sensory motor period according to Piaget, and it will be like about 2 to 4 year olds. And this book could be for little older children. It could be from 4 to 8 years old. And I have some other, like Meera said, I have some other children's book in making, and in which I'm trying to include the curriculum, integrated curriculum through the poems and the art and stuff like that.
Sure, wonderful. Would you like to recite also some poems or some rhymes? I don't know which is best at this point.
Do you want me to go to? I can go to my regular poems that have been published in anthologies and journals. Not basically children's. So I can talk about that.
Of course, we have had the pleasure of seeing some and publishing some also in Writer's Edition. And now our viewers will also indulge in your verses.
Well, thank you so much. So as far as my poetry are concerned, I would like to share some thoughts before I do that. I think of poetry as a vast ocean that embraces different diversity and culture in its folds. We, the poets, are like waves gathering to the shores and writing our verses, each unique in its own ways. We all come from different multicultural language background, but poetry binds us as one. In our emotions. As Wordsworth said, poetry is evoking, it is an overflow of emotion. I have been writing from an early age. My mother, an artist, an author, was a great influencer on my writing career experiences. So like Meera said, I'm an artist and a poet. I use colors to fill the canvas in my art. In poetry, I give colors through my words. Occasionally, my paintings and poetry complement each other. Poetry, like my art, is a form of meditation for me. I would say that poetry becomes poetry when it touches your heart. It is a mirror of your soul. They can be sad, happy, angry, spiritual. A lot of my poetries are in spiritual. And I learn a lot I read Bhagavad Gita a lot. I think some of you must be familiar with Bhagavad Gita. So I learn a lot from the philosophies of Bhagavad Gita. And I find inspiration from them, from that, like it sort of gives me inspiration. And also I question some things. So some of my poetries are based on that thing. I learn a lot from nature. I use metaphor in some of my poems. In short, whatever I was going to say in my here, my heart pounds with emotions. Meera has already said it, so I don't need to repeat it. So I can go straight to my poems, if it's okay with you. Okay. This is called, all of these poetries have been published into anthologies and journals. And this one is called, I Often Wonder, Who Am I? It's called, in the year 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us. It has affected people in varied ways: hope, sorrow, helpless, placidity, and many other emotions. In my poem, Wandering Soul, I'm questioning, who am I? Gita talks about a soul, past, future that we have not seen, after birth. So I'm questioning, why can I be just me, just me in this life? So this is what it is, a wandering soul. Who am I in this deciduous venture of life? A wandering soul, a mystery, a new layers. My dreams are wisps of commotion, inscribed in the words of the unconscious. When awake, they vaporize. In trying to recall, they speak the language I do not fathom. A faint trace remains, perhaps shadow of life previous lived. Do I want them to shroud my closed eyes when the night comes again? I, a wandering soul, tangled in the web of my past and present, live past deeds, spend present, making it correct for the world beyond my percipience. Can I just be me? Not a scintilla of the past or the incertitude of tomorrow. So that's one. Thank you. This one is called, shall I just go on? Read it. Okay. This is called the ephemeral untruth. Life is a transit journey, and as Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage and all the men and women merely players. My poem is about this perplexity or shunya of life. As lives melt in the bosom of the earth, the untold stories lie naked. The tears of the trees cannot erase the scars created. Many dewdrops cannot bring the withered flowers to bloom. All the elements of life stand as witnesses, yet you stay as mute. You here is considered as God. You stay mute as lives dissolve in days, months, and years until it does not matter. Pandits talk about Brahma and Brahmand, attachment and detachment, love and hate, pain and pleasure, and you in me and I in you, all to be dissolved in oneness one day. Then why this disconcerted journey of ephemeral untruth? I quoted some few lines from some of the poems from the book I had edited in Hindi, but I will just give you a brief translation of that. हर जीवन पथ का अंत वही जन्म जहां जो पाता है, जिस शून्य से हम आते हैं उसमें ही खो जाते हैं. It's roughly translated, we go back to from where we come. The last 4 lines of this Hindi poetry are taken from the book I edited, Tamam Shuddh Poems of my husband Shiva Mohan. Should I?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, you may continue if you wish to read another one.
Okay, okay. So this one is again calling on the same theme. Theme is called the Unveiling the Mist. The white misty blanket covered the vast expanse of the ocean, diffusing the sky into undefined nebulous oneness. In this total halcyon, the trees stood numb in a meditative trance. It was all pure white, tranquil and peaceful. Was it a union of Prakriti and Brahma? There was no storm, no pandemonium. I fathomed a soft whisper of Om Shivoham, Om Shivoham, Shivoham. In this impregnated facade of serenity, I wondered what lay beneath the misty veil. Where was I in this cosmos? Where am I in this cosmos? There was some stirring. A squirrel appeared from the thick cloud of mist, stood near my window momentarily, then dissolved again. It was Maya.
So wonderful. I like it that you include in your poetry rhetorical questions and existential questions, also about the universe, and gems of philosophy are hidden inside, I'm sure, and I like it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this point, I would like to welcome esteemed member of the advisory board of Writers Capital Foundation, Joan Josep Barceló, to say hello to us tonight.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to me to be with you today. And everybody here is a writer. And I think writing is a thing very important to communicate our intentions, our thought, everybody to one to each other. And I think it's very important understand for all the people that the poetry, for example, is a language that itself communicates everything. I want to speak, if I can, a little bit of my book. Okay.
Yes, sure.
I explain. I have 2 books. This Henry is in Catalan. Are poems from a point of view of the Jesus Christ, but written in a sense of modernity, in a concept of the new times. Is Jesus Christ that speak to us with a language normal, such a normal people that is today living with us. And the other is omniscient. And this is a book that the idea starts from paintings, photographs from a friend, Filippo Papa, and he asked me to write the poems from these photographs. I read you some poems in English, for example.
Of course, dear Joanne, because we're going to make a special feature for these particular books, just read us only one poem now, because there's going to be a huge thing around those two books, okay?
Yes.
In a separate session. Read us one so that we can get the taste, because we love it so much. Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
To try to sleep, to talk to the angels about who is the most powerful, and to occupy all the spaces, feeling how their hands are placed on the other hands. To feel no ties and cover nudity with rays of light, to combine their blood with other blood, to usurp the place in the shadows and not leave the fire on the circle, to ask only to die in the belly of the dawn.
Oh, so wonderful.
That's
And
beautiful.
it is beautiful. Can you show us one or two pictures also from Filippo?
Yes. All are domes from churches in Italy.
Ah, domes. Oh,
Beautiful.
how beautiful. Yes, exquisite.
Yeah. Very nice.
Impressive. A warm hug to Filippo too.
Yeah.
And next time he has to be with us so that you can both present the book, right?
Yes, this book has a performance. You have is created to make a performance in Venice, in Venezia. The first was in January in Venezia 3 times, and the second was in Padova. I don't know in English. Padova is near Venezia. Padova.
Padua, it's the same. Yes, almost.
And last Friday, we do this performance in Mallorca, in Sant'Agni, because we have now a festival in this village in Mallorca, and we have read the poems, and Filippo has the performance, always combining the poetry with the art, with the photography, performance, and all together to communicate. I think the poetry, when it's visual, can express more things. And I am, as a poet, I combine two with the arts. I do the sculptures and the paintings to my poems. I like to combine.
Yes, I have seen that. It's unique. It's unique about mythology as well. But we're going to say all that in our special feature. So we got a taste of that today, and we're so happy. Is there perhaps a question that you would like to ask Dr. Mohan about what she has presented so far? Because we will continue with her work.
Okay. No.
No, later perhaps. Yes. Okay. Dr. Anita would like to say something about Dr. Mohan's work, or ask a question to her.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me to this program.
Our pleasure.
And meeting writers from different parts of the world, especially your part of the world. I love listening to Joan Barcelo, and the book that he has come out with. A similar book of mine has just come out with poetry and images. So I really appreciate your work, and I would love to buy your book and read it. As far as Dr. Meenakshi Mohan is concerned, I have known her for a few years, and she's a fellow poet and an artist. So that's a unique combination, as Joanne was also talking about, where a poet can also draw, can also paint, and it's a collection of sensibilities, in my opinion, where feelings in writing spill over to feelings in the artwork. So it's a unique and special combination, and I admire Meenakshi for that combination. I have gone through most of her books. The Rainbow in My Room, I find it very magical. And then also, Meenakshi, your book on COVID, Rikta Beach, that was a very nice book as well. And we have done anthologies together. I would like to take this opportunity and talk about Meenakshi's latest book, which is Typisti of Women in Indian Mythology. And I think it's an amazing collection because under one book, you have so many writers talking about women in Indian mythology. And mythology is something dear to everyone from different parts of the world. Everyone wants to know about their own mythology. And we utilize that mythology in our daily lives. We are mentored by it. We are influenced by gods and goddesses or characters from mythology. So this book is unique because it brings together so many Indian goddesses, known ones and not so well-known ones. So that's the unique part, that writers have written on so many different women goddesses in this book. And I think it is fascinating that what really hit home in this book for me was that, you know, coming from India myself, I am aware of the power and the resilience and the tenacity and the charm and beauty of Indian goddesses. At the same time, their strength, if they don't like something, they will pick up arms and destroy, like Goddess Kali and Goddess Durga. So it was very fascinating to read so many aspects of all these goddesses in one book. And I think in that sense, it's a very educative book. It can really educate those who are not Indians, because in one book, you have a compilation of so many Indian goddesses in one book. And maybe, you know, I come from a country where there are female goddesses, but we know in India, there are so many atrocities that are committed against women. So it's kind of ironical that, you know, you have many men in India going and praying before female goddesses, but then they may be committing atrocities against their own sisters, daughters, wives, or mothers in their home or in their private and public spaces. So this duality in Indian society has always hit me. And I'm very delighted that we have a book that covers the strength and the resilience of Indian goddesses. I would like to conclude my comments from reading a poem by Meenakshi. Since this book has been edited by her, I thought the best choice was, I have my poems in it too, but the honor should go to Meenakshi, and I will read one of her poems. So this is about a goddess that is not very well known. Her name was Shanta Devi. And as I read the poem, it will become clear to you who she was and what her role was. Shanta Devi. In a remote town of Himachal Pradesh, there stands Shanta Devi's temple. There are quite a few, just before I go on, words, proper nouns in this poem. Either they are names of cities or towns, or they are names of texts, or they are names of goddesses. So I won't explain them all, but in the book, in the glossary, the explanation has been provided. In a remote town of Himachal Pradesh, there stands Shanta Devi's temple, surrounded by intricate valleys, dense forests, and with a backdrop of snow-clad mountains. Shanta Devi, a name missing from the epics, yet people come from far and wide to get her blessings. O benevolent King Dashrath, he was her father. O benevolent King Dashrath, an embodiment of truth, morality, and kindness, how could you be so unkind to your firstborn, a daughter, Shanta? an epitome of beauty, peace, and knowledge. You gave her away for adoption. You kept your daughter's identity a secret just because you wanted a son to carry your name and dynasty. Raja Dashrath, did you forget? It was Shanta Devi who renounced her princely life and deserted the home of her loving adoptive parents to become a sannyasi to do Putra Kamishti Yagya with her husband, sage Rishiringa. It was because of her sacrificial devotion and offering to gods that you were blessed with 4 sons. It was she who cared for you at your deathbed, yet you refused to recognize her identity. Valmiki and Tulsi Das, why did you forget to mention the name of Lord Ram's only sister in your epics? You knew if it were not for Shanta Devi, there would not have been Lord Rama, and there would not have been the Ramayana and Manas. Shanta Devi is a lost name as a daughter and sister, yet she survives as a Devi of peace and harmony and roams in the hearts of many who come for her blessings. The bells of this remote temple echo far and beyond the valleys and mountains to tell the world that a woman is a cachet of love, devotion, and she also has the strength and ability to change the course of history. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you for reading. You said almost everything that I was planning to say. Thank you.
Sure, most welcome.
So
but we still
beautiful
love to
it
hear
was.
from you.
Truly. Okay, so we're going to other questions. Perhaps somebody would like to ask a question to the featured author tonight. Θέλει κάποιος να ρωτήσει μια ερώτηση, να κάνει ένα ερώτημα στην συγγραφέα μας ή αργότερα? Maybe a bit later. We want to learn a lot more from you, dear Dr. Mohan. So the dice again to you to tell us more about your work or read us another poem,
Okay.
a couple of poems. Up to
I can
you.
do that.
Sure.
You know, as Dr. Joan Barcelo had said, that he paints and he writes together. So, you know, sorry, I'm traveling. I could not bring a lot of my books and poetry and stuff like that. But I just made a copy of one of my paintings and I will read a poem that I wrote on that. So I don't know if you can see it. Can you see this? It's mother and daughter.
Yes, it's wonderful.
And so I wrote a poem I also write many times. My poetry complement my paintings and paintings complement my poetry. So this one I dedicated to my mother and I wrote for her, we are never apart. We are never apart. It is a celestial bond of souls. There is a vast abyss between us as you live up there in Elysium where gods reside. And I'm here bound to earth, yet you live in my pain and happiness, in my tears and joys. I seek you, my mother, in the blues of night. You must be the brightest star in the cluster of stars watching over me as we never apart. This is a short poem.
So beautiful. A tribute to motherhood as well.
Yeah.
I also have to mention at this point that Dr. Mohan also takes part in the literary festival, of course, of Panorama, and also in Panorama Art. Yes, this is the combination of art, yes, and it's ideal, like Dr. Joanne has also said, and I can see also a connection about the inspiration that you both have from mythology too, yes? Joan got his inspiration, at least this time, from Greek mythology, and you from Indian mythology, of course. So wonderful. Please continue. We want to learn more.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to just go a little bit offline and I'm going to read a poem on about globalization. And like, you know, how the whole world is a global village. And the name of my poem is called Chaat Masala. Have you heard of chaat masala?
No, unfortunately.
It's an Indian spice mixed of many different flavors and spices, and it brings its own unique flavor. And that's one of my favorite recipes, and I use it in lots of them. And this one is actually dedicated to my grandson, who has, who is a chaat masala for me. I'm telling you, once I read it, you will get to know why it is like that. Okay.
Sure.
My grandmother it's from his point of view. My grandmother affectionately calls me her chaat masala. Why? I ask. She tenderly expounds. You are as eclectic as all my chaat masala recipes. Chaat masala, her favorite of all spices, a mixture of various flavors, a pinch in here and a nip in there, goes in all the delicacies her kitchen produces. Italian, French, Mexican, Greek, Japanese, Chinese, Indian, or name any. I relish the chromatic results and this unique spice brings in her cooking. How am I your chaat masala? Through his luminous smile, she illuminates the story of my being. Born in Singapore, childhood in Indonesia, India, England, now home in America, a land of mixed ethnicity, race, culture, language, and religion. In this deep sea of the variegated expanse, I'm not anyone's bird of a feather. I'm not anyone, my DNA weaved with mixed color and texture, not a melting pot, but my own unique identity. I speak in many tongues. As a child, the first full sentence I babbled, Aku maaf nasi goreng. It's in Indonesian. It means I want fried rice. At 4, I mesmerized my audience reciting Sanskrit shlokas in a tongue of pure silver. I often correct my father's Americanized Hindi. I trick my mother with her Cockney heritage. Spanish and French come with liminal drifts. In the world of music, I float from Bollywood to Hollywood, from rock, new metal, 90s rap, soft pop to Indian blues and remixes. Anthony Bourdain's adventure with universal cuisine fascinated me. My palatability extends beyond fish and chips, hamburgers, pizza, parmesan, New York strip, enchiladas and tacos, musakka, tamurg musallam, and saag paneer. Mexican, Italian, French, Indian, Japanese, and many more I love. I am chaat masala. I love my grandmother's analogy. So precise and pure. I'm a pinch of this and a nip of that, an eclectic mix. I'm a child of the universe.
This is so true.
So world is getting global, okay?
Of course.
Multi-culti. Thanks. I'll read another one. This is also in the same line of like equality. We are all one. We can be coming from different background and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we are all the same, actually. So the name of my poem is God is the color of water. God is the color of water. Who am I? My confused 8-year-old reasoning muddled with fear knew no bounds. Is my mother really my mother? Then why is she different? Searching, finding, lost at times, my body and mind infused with orchestrated chaos, I looked into the layers of my life's scanty pages. Why find an answer, open a mystery? I asked with anxiety and disquiet nervousness, are you my real mother? Yes, child, you replied. Then why am I different? You calm my soul. We are all human beings and God's creation. In our differences, we have similarities. Then I asked, what color is God? You replied, God is the color of water. The child says, but water has no color. Why did God put different colors in making us? My curiosity grew. You smiled and took hold of my hand. God is an artist. The canvas of the world is enormous. He filled it with different colors to make it look beautiful. I smiled. I looked at myself and I looked at my mother in the mirror. Yes, we were different, yet we were same. Both are hearts full of love, and up above and far away, God smiled through a vast stretch of rainbow, shining different colors.
How wonderful is this message of equality, and combined with brotherhood and solidarity, it could also make a better future for us all. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Could we go to a round of questions, perhaps? Somebody who would like to ask a question there? Oh, Despina wants to ask. Yes, please, unmute yourself. Το μικρόφωνο.
No. Yes, all the poetry and what has been said is very inspirational and very true. I just wanted to ask whether you find the poetry is now becoming more important, that there are more people reading poetry or listening to poetry compared to the past, because over the past few years, I have seen an increase in the number of poets around the world, not only here in Greece. And one of them, of course, is my husband, who unfortunately cannot speak English. And I will have to translate for him later. But he's in the same mind as you are with your poetry. And this is what I would like to know, whether you have found that there has been an increase in not only in the poets, but the people reading and who are interested in poetry. Thank you.
You're asking me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yes, thank you so much. It's a nice question. Yes, poetry is actually a language of heart. It's coming from the heart and it touches everybody universally. And I think more and more people are, sort of reading more. I think more and more people are reading poetry these days, and a lot of more poets are coming up. As for me, as far as I'm concerned, I like poem that flows like a story and that has a meaning to it, rather than being very abstract. I like poems with meaning and something that tells a story. So I think it is really getting more popular and more common. And there are, I know a lot of, in the last 2 years of this COVID, I have becoming more involved in this thing, and I have come to know many, many nice modern poets too, who are writing a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Somebody else that would like to ask a question? Κάποια ερώτηση που μπορώ να μεταφράσω κι εγώ από τους φίλους μας εδώ στην Ελλάδα?
Well,
maybe I see somebody. Just a second. Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask one more question?
Of course, Despina. Of course.
Because a lot of your books, and because you do refer to children, and a lot of your books are written for children. Do you think, or have you found that children are becoming more interested in poetry compared to before? Is there more poetry being written for children to introduce them to poetry? Because poetry, of course, as a form of literature, is one of the highest forms, and it is not always easy not only to understand and explain, but to get people to become interested in it.
Poetry has always been a part of children, I think. We all grew up learning nursery rhymes, and they made a lot more senses to us when we were reading all that. And I have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter. And when I read to her something like, something new, or like from Sanskrit Shlok, she will always say, can you please sing it to me? So I think a lot more people are, into poetry. And I think we can expose our children as much as we want. I mean, they are like a, sponge. They sort of absorb from the environment. And my granddaughter, when she was like a little baby, not even speaking or anything, when my daughter would just put her in her lap and read a storybook and even read my story. And she used to get so fascinated with the whole thing. And now she has her own library of books and she loves to read, so I see it is as much exposure you give to children, they would start developing interest.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful,
That
wonderful
was nice.
answer.
Yeah.
Again, we agree.
Thank you. Ευχαριστούμε, Δέσποινα. Thank you so much. I see a hand being raised. Is the name, I'm saying it right, Satbir? Please unmute yourself and ask your question. We can't see you, unfortunately, but I can see the hand raised. Oh, yes. Hello.
Can you?
Yes.
We can hear and see you. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Sadhbirji. So good to see you.
Good to see you. So nice. So I just wanted to ask you, you've done so many solo books and journals and whatever all, like, and your anthology now is become very popular, famous, and very well accepted in literary circles for the way the content and everything. Do you intend to go on doing more anthologies? Do you think it should go that, or no?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. This anthology, when I started it, I had no idea how it was going to be taken. I have always been interested in mythology and anthology. Actually, as I was doing this one, when I was working on this, and like you said, and including your poem, so many new ideas came to me that I'm ready to I have another project coming up, and it's I don't want to reveal it until it's really takes shape, So yes, more anthologies would be coming, in that.
Yes, that's what I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
And it'll be great. Yes.
Yeah.
But keep up your solo books also. They are more meaningful and valuable.
Sure.
Good to see you, Meenakshi.
Good to see you, Sadhbirji. And yes, my book of poems will be coming shortly. And I'm also working in children's books. So that would also be coming. And this time the children's book is going to be a little different. It would be my poetry in a lyrical story, in a lyrical form. But yet I want to integrate some curriculum ideas for teachers and parents, so they can sort of elaborate or stretch the story form in that one. And that story is going to be in lyrical form, and that is it's almost ready. I have to send it out to the publishers.
You're marvelous. You work at so many levels. I'm so impressed.
Thank you so much. You have been a great inspiration for me. Thanks.
Do send me the links.
Sure,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Such a wonderful question that brought up two words that actually rang something inside of me, because they're of Greek origin: anthology and mythology. I feel that tonight is a very unique session, and thank you for that. Another question, perhaps? No? Okay, maybe later. Shall we go on with something else, Dr. Mohan? Anything that you have prepared for us?
Okay, I can just read one poem that I wrote on freedom. I was recently asked to write for a journal, and
Wonderful.
This is a poem that I wrote on freedom. It was around when was it, 15th August time, so one of the journals asked me. So this is again my painting, which is very little. It's a Rickshawala painting. Okay. And
can you bring it closer so that we can see it better? Oh, yes.
Okay.
Now we can see. It's
so basically
wonderful.
It's just a print, and I'm sorry, like I said, I'm traveling, so I could not
It's
bring
okay.
all
Wonderful.
the stuff. So this painting is oil on canvas, and I wrote a poem on this. This is about Rickshawala. You had Rickshawala from Kolkata. I'm from Calcutta. So you had dreams, but alas, you had no time to lavish and linger on them for yourself. With your thin legs in worn sandals and with a gamcha on your shoulder to wipe your sweaty face, you paddled through the crowded streets of Kolkata. You had dreams, but alas, With your sunken eyes buried in the deep creases of your face, you gazed across the muddy roads to your destinations. But unfortunately, you had no time to lavish and linger on your dreams. You had dreams, but alas, when you crossed over the potholed streets of this crowded city, you thought of your responsibilities, old parents, wife, and children. You thought of how you would make the two ends meet on your exiguous income. You had no time to lavish and linger on your dreams. You had dreams, but alas, did your clients, indurate and compassionless, ever wonder about your impecunious life? What went on in your heart when they argued with you to save their few rupees, and when they blazed you as dishonest? Then finally you sighed and moved on. You had no time to lavish and linger on your dreams. Yet you still had dreams. For the boy in his rags on the street, selling paper flags of India, you stopped your rickshaw to buy 2 small paper Indian flags from him. You paid him more than the asking price. And he looked at you surprised, grateful, with stars in his eyes. In return, you smiled and stroked his tousled hair gently, as if in blessings. Yes, you still had dreams. When you went home to your shack, to your little boy and girl, reading under a dim dangling light from the ceiling, you smiled. You looked at them with pride. Your gift of paper flags of India brought smiles to their faces. You knew you could dream big for them. You had dreams when a sweet melody of Vande Mataram from a faraway field resonated and seeped through the open doors of your dwelling. You knew your children were your dreams.
Wonderful. It's about freedom, yes. We talked about motherhood, freedom, love for children, care. It's also wonderful, such wonderful messages. And one question has come by our Honorable President of Writers Capital Foundation, Mr. Preet Nambiar, to you, Dr. Mohan. What are your future projects and how are you intending to inspire humanity through your works in the future?
Okay. So my future projects again involved, what I wrote in this anthology, and this time it's going to be for children, bringing out some woman characters that so many people don't even know about it, but it's going to be from children's point of view, and they'll be in story form. And that'll be my solo project, of course. It's not an anthology this time, but I'll take out some women characters from our mythology and explain how powerful they were. So that is one thing. And the other thing that I'm doing for children, I'm a very children's person. So another project that I have in mind is writing that lyrical story for children, and try to see how we can integrate into curriculum in different forms. Actually, art could be integrated into different areas of the curriculum. Through art, art is very motivating. So we can teach them science, math, so different other subjects just through art, and it becomes very motivating factor for children to learn. So that's it. And then the third project I have is uniting my storybook and my poetry and my painting together, to go together with the poetry and painting. And one more thing is my book of poems, which would be dealing with many other subjects, like I just shared, with humanity and uniting us as one global village in the world.
Wonderful. This was exactly what we wanted to hear, future projects in the service of humanity. We have the pleasure to have among us also executive member of Writers Capital International Foundation and manager advisor in the Panorama Festivals, Sister Johanna Devadayavu. We would like to hear your hello, dear sister, if it is possible, of course.
Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
so nice
Hello.
to see you.
Yeah, hello, everyone.
Hi, Joanna. How are you?
We missed you at the beginning.
Yeah, I thought I couldn't make it,
Yes,
but
yes,
somehow
yes.
I couldn't abstain from being, here among you, at least for some
Thank
time.
you so much.
I heard your beautiful poems just a few days
Oh.
ago, when you had her there. Beautiful. You write, beautifully.
Thank you, thank you. I want to congratulate you on behalf of Writers Capital Foundation to your wonderful works. And I hope you will have the divine inspiration to continue to write more and more and touch many hearts, especially also the hearts of children. As you say, you work with children, and that's very important. I feel that the children are included with a good motivation, because nowadays there are so many distractions for the children, especially through the cell phones and the internet and everything. They're being distracted from real life, we can say, and it is very important that children are motivated in a good way through writing, through pictures, as you say, art and poetry combined is very motivating for children. I congratulate you for this great
Thank you.
work that you are doing. Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks. Very encouraging.
Thank you so much, Sister Johanna. You are an inspiration always. Because you advocate love and light. So therefore, this has to go in combination with the next generation, the raising of children. This is also true what you said. And I have somebody here who likes you, who is very fond of you, who likes you very much. And this is also my favorite friend and poetess, Vula Memu. Vula, this is Johanna. Say hello.
Oh,
you have said you
hello,
have missed her.
I miss. Good evening from Greece. I'm very happy to be among you. Congratulations, Dr. Mohan. It was so interesting and important, everything I hear. And I like everything you talk for children, because I think that the children are our future. Thank you to Writers International Editions, because published one of my books. That book, Unruly
That
Gods.
lovely book, that lovely book. Yes, so wonderful, Vula. Congratulations too. And not only that, we have to say that you're not only a poetess and an author, you're also an artist yourself, and that you have sculpted this wonderful tree, the olive tree of peace, that we used and had on a pedestal in our exhibition of Panorama in Athens, Panorama Arts. We thank you so much for that, because actually it went around the world, this symbol of peace, yes. Your tree.
Yes, very good. All trees is the symbol of peace, so it's very honor to me to make a tree for you and for all.
We're so happy. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, Βούλα μου, και για το δέντρο. We're so happy that you're among us, that you're a member of Writers Capital Foundation, and that you also have received the 3rd International Award in Tunisia.
But
and it is about peace.
I will go in Tuesday in Tunisia.
You will go again on Tuesday. Wonderful. Please represent us as you always do. You're always an ambassador of peace and culture.
Τούτη τη φορά είμαι επίσημα καλεσμένη από το Υπουργείο Πολιτισμού της Τινησίας σε ένα μεγάλο φεστιβάλ για γυναίκες. Είναι μεγάλη μου χαρά.
Women's Festival in Tunisia, and she's officially invited by the Tunisian government from the ministry there of Education and Tourism. Congratulations, Vula. We're so happy about this. So happy.
Thank you so much.
And of course, you're going to be featured very soon with this wonderful book of yours, Unruly Words, by Writers International Edition, and other books that you have also published.
And in Unruly Words, it must be in Arabic language from the government of Tunisia.
This is wonderful news. Can you see that one book from Greece translated into English went first to the Balkans, and now it's going to be translated into Arabic. I'm so proud of that. So proud.
Congratulations.
Bravo,
Congratulations.
bravo,
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Ετοιμάσου για το δικό σου λοιπόν αφιέρωμα στα τέλη του μήνα.
Όταν γυρίσουμε
Φιλιά
το
πολλά.
καλό.
Βεβαίως, με το καλό, με το καλό.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so
since we
much.
talked about children and being at the service of children, καθώς μιλήσαμε για παιδιά και να είμαστε στην υπηρεσία των παιδιών, Dr. Mohan, I would like to present to you two young authors that have dedicated themselves to children and writing a tale and many more tales to come for children that are sick, and they want to give them the hope of life again. Elena and Pantelis, that wrote the tale of the adventure of Roulis. Παιδιά, πείτε ένα γεια σας στην κυρία Mohan, στη Dr. Mohan. Dr. Mohan, these are the guests of today for you. Καλησπέρα. Hello, Elena.
Καλησπέρα. Είμαστε ιδιαίτερα χαρούμενοι που είμαστε σήμερα πάλι εδώ. Να δείξουμε το πνευματικό μας παιδί, το Ρούλι τον Εφρολή, ο οποίος φτιάχτηκε και δημιουργήθηκε από την αγάπη που έχουμε για τα παιδιά μέσα σε ένα βράδυ. Δηλαδή ήταν μια ιδέα που πιάστηκε στις 2 η ώρα τη νύχτα και μέχρι τις 3:30 το βράδυ είχαμε βρει τίτλο και είχαμε γράψει τα πρώτα 4 κεφάλαια. Η αγάπη και η ανάγκη να δώσουμε στα παιδιά την ελπίδα που μάχονται με την Αφρική ανεπάρκεια μας ξεκλείδωσε συναισθήματα και να πω ταπεινά το ταλέντο να βγάλουμε όλη αυτή την αγάπη στο χαρτί. Και έτσι ο Ρούλης, χάρη στην Ειρήνη του Ρακαβαδία και χάρη στον πρόεδρο Πρέθυνα Μπιάρ και τη Writer International Edition, που τους ευχαριστούμε θερμότατα, αν δεν ήταν εκείνοι θα ήταν απλά στον υπολογιστή ακόμα. Όμως το όνειρό μας έγινε πραγματικότητα. Πιστέψανε σε αυτό, στο Ρούλι, σε εμάς, και έγινε ένα πυροτέχνημα το οποίο ξεχύθηκε από τον υπολογιστή.
Το μικρό θαύμα που λέγαμε, έτσι, Έλενα.
Προχωράει δυνατά, δίνει ελπίδα, δίνει φως και προς μεγάλη μας χαρά, όχι μόνο στα μικρά παιδάκια,
αλλά και στους μεγαλύτερους.
Ναι, και στους μεγαλύτερους που μάχονται με την νεφρική ανεπάρκεια. Και πολλές φορές μας λένε ότι πριν κοιμηθούν το διαβάζουν για να νιώσουν έτσι μια γαλήνη και μια ελπίδα και την αισιοδοξία της επόμενης μέρας. Αυτό λοιπόν μας δείχνει ένα χαμόγελο ικανοποίησης πριν κοιμηθούμε το βράδυ. Όλα αυτά τα λόγια, τα όμορφα, τα μηνύματα αγάπης για το Ρούλι μας εκτόξευσε συναισθηματικά. Δεν καβαλήσαμε το καλάμι φυσικά, απλά αυτό μας έδωσε την διάθεση να γράψουμε κι άλλα. Υπάρχει ήδη άλλο ένα παραμύθι προς έκδοση για τα παιδάκια που μάχονται με την καρδιακή ανεπάρκεια.
Πολύ ωραία. Έλενα, να τα μεταφράσω μόνο για να καταλάβουν και οι υπόλοιποι. Ναι. Τέλεια. Και να μιλήσει και λίγο ο Παντελής. Υπέρ ευχαριστούμε. Συγχαρητήρια. Dr. Mohan, Elena has talked about their book that is written for children fighting against kidney failure. And this happened actually overnight as they wanted to shed light to their lives, because these two authors, they themselves are also fighting the same disease. Thank you so much, Elena. Παντελή, θες να πεις και εσύ ένα μικρό σχόλιο? Και ίσως και μια ερώτηση για την Dr. Mohan.
Ναι.
Thank you so much, Elena.
Αυτά που είπε... Μ' ακούτε?
Ωραία. Ναι.
Αυτά που είπε η Έλενα είναι ένα δείγμα από όσα νιώσαμε εκείνο το βράδυ που δημιουργήθηκε ένα μεγάλο κομμάτι από το βιβλίο. Έγινε πραγματικά έκρηξη έμπνευσης και φυσικά, όπως είπε η Έλενα, να ξαναπώ ότι χωρίς εσένα, χωρίς τον πρόεδρο, δεν θα το είχαμε σήμερα στα χέρια μας και δεν θα ακούγαμε αυτά τα υπέροχα σχόλια από μικρούς και μεγάλους που το έχουν στο σπίτι τους, που το έχουν διαβάσει, που το διαβάζουν κάθε μέρα. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Το ερώτημα που θα ήθελα να κάνω ήταν...
Πριν πας στο ερώτημα, να μεταφράσω μέχρι εδώ.
Ναι.
Έτσι, πολύ ωραία, ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Pantelis also added on the comments of Elena, saying that he receives a lot of messages, they receive both, a lot of messages from across the world, saying how happy they are to have this book in their hands and to read it before going to bed and have their soul serene and relaxed and all this. And of course, these two young authors said that this is their little miracle that happened. They were never expecting it to be published. And they give special thanks to our publications, Writers Editions. Thank you so much for that. Otherwise, they say that it would be in a drawer. We will never keep things in a drawer. I really have to tell you that. Everything we write has to go across the world to spread the light to humanity. And that's a promise from us too. And now the question to Dr. Mohan, please. Το ερώτημα.
Από ό,τι είδα από κάποια σχέδια, τα σχέδια πραγματικά με κέντρισαν ιδιαίτερα. Θα ήθελα να ρωτήσω ποια ήταν η έμπνευση.
Για τις ζωγραφιές. Ωραία, πολύ ωραίο ερώτημα. Thank you so much. Dr. Mohan, Pantelis also congratulates you on the whole of your work, and he has been particularly impressed by your drawings, by your paintings.
Thank you.
And he asks, where do you get inspired? I mean, is it something one at a time? Is there a whole of inspiration?
Okay, so for my painting and also for my writing, I think my mother has been the greatest influence on my life from my childhood. She has been a painter, a poet, a writer, published writer. And from childhood, we knew how to, we have been painting and drawing and stuff like that. So my interest into painting and writing both developed from my very early stage, in my life. And I would give my mother the best credit. Actually, for painting, I had no professional training. I just do it. So now I do oil, watercolor, pen and ink art, many different types of things. But it's my own, it comes from my own, inspiration or whatever you can call it.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll have to translate it a bit. Παντελή μου, ίσως να το κατάλαβες, απλά να σου πω ότι ουσιαστικά η Dr. Mohan πήρε όλη την έμπνευση από τη μητέρα της ουσιαστικά, διότι και εκείνη ήταν ποιήτρια και ζωγράφος και έχει, σαν να λέμε, κυλάει στο αίμα της. Οπότε οτιδήποτε σκέφτεται σαν ποίημα, πολλές φορές το αποτυπώνει και στο χαρτί. Και ξεκίνησε από πάρα πολύ μικρή και βεβαίως είναι αυτοδίδακτη. Αυτό το κάνει ακόμα πιο σημαντικό. Έλενα, εσύ το ξέρεις επίσης, που έχεις κάνει την εικονογράφηση του Ρούλη, επίσης αυτοδίδακτη, και αγάπησαν τις εικόνες τόσο πολύ τα παιδάκια. Συγχαρητήρια και πάλι και ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Καλό βράδυ και σε εσάς. Κάποιο ερώτημα? Any more questions on Dr. Mohan? Not for the moment. So I will ask Marco Antonio. Marco Antonio, me dijiste que tú querías decir un poema, recitar un poema de Dr. Mohan. ¿Es verdad? Porque te ha impresionado mucho.
Así es. Dos cosas. Yo no soy artista, mucho menos crítico de artistas, pero al ver sus pinturas de la doctora Mohan, me ha llamado la atención mucho el estilo que tiene, ¿no? Resalta los colores fuertes, brillantes, encendidos, y contrastados, de tal manera de que se pueda captar más fácilmente el mensaje que quiere dar con sus títulos. Ahora es una...
¿Puedo
un
traducir
poema
hasta
cortito.
ahora?
Ah, sí,
Sí,
sí, por favor.
sí. Gracias. Marco Antonio is also an executive member of Writers Capital Foundation. He's also a poet, and he wants to congratulate you, Dr. Mohan. Of course, he's not an artist, but he has really been impressed by your paintings because he feels that they are vivid, they are lively, they have such contrast and the colors and all. And he really wanted to tell you that, although he's not an artist, let alone an art critic. And now he continues. Por favor, sigue.
Bueno, el poema, una oración silenciosa, me ha llamado la atención por la profundidad. Mientras mi barco navega a través de las tormentas y tumultuosas olas de la vida, extiendo mis alas para alcanzar en una oración silenciosa. Por favor, guíame para conquistar el clamoroso viaje por delante, con astuto conocimiento y fuerza. Entonces, otórgame la paz y la calma como fluye hacia el corazón del océano.
Lo has traducido solo, ¿sí? Ese poema, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Cuál es el título?
Una oración silenciosa.
Bueno, magnífico. Muchísimas gracias. Dr. Mohan, Marco Antonio just recited one of your poems that is called Silent Prayer in Spanish, because he lives in Bolivia and wanted the people there in the Spanish world also to be able to understand the profoundness of your poetry.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Marco Antonio. Muchísimas gracias. Wonderful. Another question perhaps to Dr. Mohan after this Spanish touch of her poem? I think we have all talked about your works, dear Dr. Mohan. We have indulged in your lovely verses, and if there is nothing else to be said by you, we could go to the vote of thanks by Marco Antonio. Is there anything else you would like to add, since you are the featured author of tonight's session?
You're talking to me?
Yes. Is there something else you would like to say? Please, it's your
I just one
session.
one last poem I would like to read.
With pleasure.
Yeah, that is, again, I would say that I'm very much impressed by Bhagavad Gita's teachings and stuff like that. I lost my husband about 10 years ago, and that's when, Bhagavad Gita's teaching became very consoling to me and stuff like that. Like in some of the poems that I read before, I'm questioning life a lot. So this is like a conclusion, kind of. So life, a journey. And I was actually, when he died, I was very heartbroken. I thought this is the end of my world. But then, how I survived. Life, a journey. A poet in me felt brokenhearted, crestfallen, a hollowness consumed me. This life is not worth it. I moaned, repined, an emptiness swallowed me. My husband was my world, my soulmate, a purpose to live. Then a philosopher in me besieged, supplicated and consoled. A soul never dies. It just crosses the bridge of this world to the other end of the cosmos where God lives. My husband can still be with me from his celestial zone. An ethereal divine voice spoke inside me. Wake up, child. Life is too precious to end. Learn from the skeleton of the trees with their shed leaves. They wait for the spring to come and give the world beauty and harmony. They are life and light in the world. Live to the fullest. Make the world a happy place. When the time comes for you to board the boat, to take you to the other end of the world, your footprints would remain for people to remember and follow you. And then I quoted Sanskrit script here. It is in Sanskrit, it's called Karmanye vidhakaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phale heturbhar ma te sangastva akarmanya. So basically it means it's Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 shlok 47. Basically in short meaning is live and do your duty and leave the rest on God. So wake up, live, shut the hollow empty life, fill it with beauty in you and the world.
Oh, lovely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, life goes on, and whoever is not here with us will always remain in our hearts, right? Forever. This is true. So wonderful. I would like to thank you so much for your wonderful works that are surely inspiring. And I would like to come back to Mira, who is also going to be featured soon. Just tell us, Mira, the title of the book that is going to come out very soon, because you're also going to have your own session, dear.
Okay. My new book, it is actually the second book. It's called Dakshina Kashi. It's actually from our own mother tongue. I'm coming from Kerala, which is the southern tip of India. We speak Malayalam. Our language is Malayalam. So these two words come from that, Dakshina Kashi. Dakshina means south. Kashi is actually a very renowned and very spiritual place. So it is like, it is the extreme, like it is the extreme pure place. So actually I live in Alua. There is a river called Periyar. And on the banks of that river, we have this famous Shiva Temple, where every year people come for Bali. Bali Tarpanas, that is the day when you remember the lost souls from this world, of your own family, especially your parents and your ancestors, and you pray for them. So this place is very famous, and it is actually historically famous, and it has a very good historical background. It was said that a saint came and he was praying there, he was meditating there, and suddenly he saw the hair of Shiva. Lord
So it's
Shiva,
a very spiritual and a historic place that inspired you, yes?
Yes, that's something that inspired me too. So the poems in that collection is basically meditative and spiritual. And it has also certain poems dedicated to Krishna, Lord Krishna, which rules every hearts of especially women of our country. And of course, poems on a women character from Indian mythology, Kunti.
Thank you so much, Mira. Thank you so much. We're going to talk about this in a next session. We thank you so much. And perhaps somebody else would like to ask a last question before the vote of thanks to conclude tonight's session. So we go to Marco Antonio to give the vote of thanks. Dar las gracias, Marco Antonio. Please unmute.
Ya agradecemos a la presencia de todos en este en el segundo Meet, conozca al autor. Felicitamos a la autora central, porque han estado varios autores, la doctora Mohan, por toda la producción que tiene, por todo su aporte a la literatura y al arte, a la cultura. Y a nombre de Bright Capital Internacional quiero agradecer la presencia de todos y también invitar a una nueva sesión. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, Marco Antonio. He congratulated the featured author of today's session, Dr. Meenakshi Mohan, for everything that she has done so far in the literary realm, and prompts her to continue with all her might towards inspiring humanity even further. I just noticed that we also have among us Dr. Perugu, Dr. Rama. If you would like to say just a hello to us all. because we are actually up to conclude. I know there's a very different time zone everywhere, but we're so happy to see you. Ramakrishna Perugu is also a very esteemed member of the advisory board of Writers Capital. Just say hello if you wish. Before your microphone, dear.
Hello.
Oh, so happy to see you.
From India. My greetings from India. Thank you so much to see all of you. And Irene, my good friend. Thank you. After a long time, I'm watching you. So nice, so nice.
So nice. I'm afraid you have missed the beautiful verses of Dr. Mohan, but you can watch it later on because we were live today.
Link will
Yes,
be there.
we're so happy to see you even now. I mean, you're a part of us, a very precious part. Thank you so much. And
Sure.
today it has been a very unique session because
wonderful.
Thank you. Because we talked about beautiful messages for children, for women, equality, peace, love, like we always do. Because
all important topics.
Exactly, because we, above all, we are inspired towards enlightening humanity and being ardent humanitarians. And with these beautiful messages, we thank you all wholeheartedly for joining our live session tonight, conducted by Writers Capital International Foundation. Meet the Author Program 3 will be scheduled soon. Let us all meet again in the realm of literature, and let us all continue spreading the light across the globe through our mighty pens and also our pencils and everything, or our computers. Good night, everyone. A blessed evening. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Dr. Mohan.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
A round of applause. A round of applause.
Meenakshi ma'am.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Keep inspiring, dear Dr. Mohan. Keep inspiring humanity. We love you all. Θα ξαναβρεθούμε όλοι σύντομα. See you all so soon, really. Καληνύχτα. Bye from Greece, everyone. Bye. Goodbye. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.